Hi, crafty friend. It's Justine Dvorak from Stationery by Justine, where when I craft, my world stands still. Today, I am super excited because I'm using a new shaker element to my craft room. It is this one, which is called Polished White, and there's a ton of different new embellishments over on the Trinity Stamps shop. They are, in my opinion, the best place to get embellishments. And I'm also going to pull out two other embellishment packs from my stash, and I am going to pull out even more things from my stash because I love them so much. You know I love a gnome, and so we're going to do a gnome card today. And I'm also going to use this background. So I have colored the gnome rather recently on YouTube. So I did not want to add that to the video, but here is a look at the stamp set if you are interested in it. It's called Norse Gnome from Trinity. And then there are coordinating dies with it. I just store mine on the back. And then there is bubble die cuts for every single die, which is every single stamp, which is my favorite. I have stamped and heat embossed Have a Norse Stay. And then I also die cut out from this die set, from the Simply Sentimental Friend die set, this Friends at the top, and then I just chopped the S off. So it's going to say, Friend, have a Norse Day. So the whole technique part of this video that I'm going to share with you today will be ink blending on this background piece for my little Norse gnome, and then adding a giant 5x7 shaker window and adding this cool die over it. Now, this die is the A7 Tree Frame Full Panel die. It is so cool. This is new to my craft room. It came out last year, it looks like, from Trinity. So for this, it's going to be kind of like a sunset moment for my gnome. And it's going to have this silhouette of a tree on the back. So I'm going to just go ahead and die cut out this forest. I love making shaker cards, and this one is going to be so cute. I just know it. If you really like embellishments, you got to check out the new ones. By the way, there's even little French fries, there's little birthday cakes, and then there's these really pretty discs in every pastel color you could ever want. So definitely check those out. I will have all the items I'm using down below, and then also all the new embellishments linked as well. So if that's something that interests you, you can shop till you drop. And you can make your own shaker card. I think that these shaker windows are really the easiest way to make a shaker card. It's not the only way, but it's so fast, and we're going to do it together here today. I did run this through my die cutting machine this direction, so for whatever reason right here just didn't cut super well. I think I need a new magnet on my die cutting machine, but we're all good. I'll set that off to the side, and let's get to blending because that is going to be crucial for my background. I want it to be a sunset moment for my little Nomi. My Nomi. So I'm going to use my Blending Buddies from Trinity. They are my favorite brush for blending, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on the design team now. I'm saying that because they really, truly are so good, and I've been able to get lots of great color laid down with these brushes in a very smooth way, and I've been playing with the small blending brushes from Trinity as well, and I even have a little holder for them now. There they are. I've only used these three colors for the little ones, but they are really fun to use, and they give a very light shade if you're doing shading with die cuts. So I really like them for that. But for a big background like this, I'm going to use my Blending Buddies because they're large and in charge and oh so good. One really cool tip that I would like to share about ink blending is that even if your project is going to be positioned this direction, I like to ink blend, I like to ink blend going this direction because of the motion of my arm. And this is supposed to come off, by the way. It's for stamping. But your arm can easily go back and forth and not get too tired or fatigued, but going back and forth causes a little bit more strain. So I'm going to go front to back with my ink blending. I'm going to start with my brightest color, so my yellow. By the way, opening and closing these, I'll just give you a little tip that Carrie and Tanisa have taught me. You take it and you open it like an Easter egg, and then to put it away, you kind of angle it. I'll put it to the side so you can see. You kind of angle it in, and then if any little bristles are sticking out, you just twist it, and eventually those little brushes fall down, and you are protecting your little blending buddy, and it's not getting dusty or it's not getting ink all over everything. So I think these are very well made. All right, I'm using Simon Hurley ink. This one is Shooting Star. I'm using the brightest color first because I want to go from bright to dark. And I'm going to have my sunset kind of being at the bottom of my project. And with my overlay die here, I don't have too much coverage with the ground area here. So I might take a little piece of green cardstock and make some kind of a ground for my gnome to sit on. I haven't quite decided that at this moment. We will see what happens. Your guess is as good as mine. But just in case I don't, I'm going to definitely put down quite a bit of yellow. And if you're going and you're looking at it going, well, that's kind of light, it's okay, because a good ink blending is all about the layers. And this will be underneath my shaker bits. So it's okay if it isn't perfect. It just needs to have lots of sunset colors going on. So again, this motion is way easier than back and forth. So I'm already feeling thankful for moving it. Also, I was just at Paperganza, and I noticed a few people were speaking about just being a little more fatigued when ink blending, or having any mobility issues with ink blending. If you get a sore arm when you are doing this, I find that if you are able to stand up, just the force of your body when you are standing is just a little bit more. So if you are able to stand up, that also can work. Ink blending is for sure my cardio. Okay, giggling, giggling, giggling. Let's do orange next. I might come back and add, no. I'm gonna add more yellow. I'm always starting off the project and going on to it. At least that's the goal. A lot of times I forget, and then I get an ink smush right in the middle, but you live and you learn. Now, having a good basic rainbow of inks is really important in your craft room, and having really good blending brushes is really important as well. I like Simon Hurley's inks quite a lot, and I am familiar with how the colors blend together. Like, I know that these two colors together, when I layer the orange over the yellow, is going to be a gorgeous color. Also, when I layer Shooting Star and Prom Queen together, they get a gorgeous orange as well. But I definitely want to have this be a larger sunset, so we are going to still use the orange and the pink. Maybe this is a sunset, sunrise. I'm not sure if there's too much of a difference with how everything looks, but it's just gorgeous. Now I am using Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'll show you the package of it. This is kind of my favorite paper for ink blending at the moment. You can buy it at most craft stores in my area at least. It is a little bit spendy, but if you use it for your projects and you don't make mistakes when you're cutting it up for your projects, it will go longer. Further, farther, it will go. Yeah, you'll get more bang for your buck if you don't make silly mistakes when you're cutting. I'll do one more layer of orange. We're going to go to the pink next, then purple, and maybe just a touch of black. Don't be scared to go to those dark colors and make your projects look super dramatic. I love a dramatic card. All right, Prom Queen. This has got to be my favorite pink. It's just so pretty. When it layers over the orange, it's just so good. And I probably should be re-inking this soon because I do notice it is drier than normal, but I've been using it a lot. So what can you say about that? Do you see that gorgeous orangey red? Oh, so pretty. If you know about the new embellishments from Trinity and you are able to leave a YouTube comment, go ahead and let me know in the comments which embellishment is your favorite from the new embellishments. I think my favorite has to be the French fries, and I'm going to show you them. I have a project planned with these little guys. I haven't completed it yet, but it's in my head. But aren't they just so cute? This is what I mean when I say that the Trinity Stamps website has the best embellishments out there. I do notice a few little imperfections and fingerprints on my project. This Bristol smooth cardstock is like crazy smooth, and maybe I touched this paper when I had lotion on. That is entirely possible because I am a very dry girl. I'm always putting lotion on, but there's going to be shaker items on there, and I might maybe pop a sentiment on carefully and it should be fine. If you noticed while I was just chatting to you about my dry hands, I did go back with the orange and add a little more of a blend in between the orange and the pink. Ooh, my purple is super juicy. This one is called Crown Me. Like a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful royal purple. It almost has a little bit of blue tones in it. I mean, purple is red and blue mixed together, so it doesn't surprise me that much, but there you go. And I'm going to go back with the pink buddy and just blend that line out so it is a little less harsh. And this paper is, I don't know what's in this paper, but it just seems to blend a little easier, and it just kind of stays, the ink stays on top of my paper a little bit longer. And so with good paper, good ink, and good blending brushes, it's bound to be a decent project, right? Here's my black ink. It's Memento. I always hang my blending brushes on these little hooks, but I've been keeping them on my desk recently because I've been using them so much. So I might have to rethink my Blending Buddy storage because it's just almost too far away. Heaven forbid we stand up to get something in the craft room. Good grief. Okay, we're almost finished with my sky here. I'm going to go back in with the purple and blend it out just a little bit in between those two. It just softens up the line a little bit. Oh, that's almost glowing. I love it. Okay. I've heard a lot of people say if you want a really good blend, another thing to do is go over the whole thing twice. That is totally an option. I am pretty pleased with how this has turned out, so I'm not going to do that here today, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to set this off to the side clean this mess up and we'll pop back on. Ooh, look at that. That looks really cool that direction. Let's see what it looks like the other way. I wonder. Wish I could ask your advice here. I think I like this better because he has a lot of yellow in his hair. Huh, that's unexpected. I thought I was going to have it the other way. But such is life. All right. Set my little Nomi off to the side again, and hopefully I don't lose my sentiments as we go along, because now all of a sudden I can't find the one that says friend, but I will fix that. Sure enough, it was under the mat. That's where things are 9 times out of 10 for me in my craft room. All right, let's keep those there. Keep an eye on them if I lose them again. Oh boy. Alrighty. These are the shaker windows that are the flat acetate shaker pouches from Trinity. They are just so good for shakers. I'm going to go ahead and just take one out. And I always like to see, is my paper the correct size? Because the shaker windows are the right size, but sometimes when I'm cutting, it is not. And look, it is. So the way I tell that is I put my piece of paper aligned with the edges of the shaker, and I just look for any overlap. If it's doing that and there's a lot of overlap there, I would need to trim it down. But it does not look like I need to do that. So that is fantastic. So what I like to do first for shaker pouches is I like to use my scoring tool, and I like to give all the edges a really good score. I'm so sorry, this is not the first step. If the shaker window has sticky on the back, that is your first step. But if it does not, you're going to need to add some double-sided adhesive. I'm going to use this one because it is pretty skinny and it will fit on the edges of my shaker window. I do want to mention that there is a protective film on this. So to test out what side has the protective film, sometimes they will have a little sticker here saying relieve this side. And if it does not, all you can do, it's really simple. You don't even need to fuss with any of your nail or anything. Just take some kind of a pokey tool and then just make a little circle like 2 or 3 times, and then put your tool on that circle you made and just gently push down and it will lift up. So I know that this side has a protective film, so I'm going to leave that on until I am done assembling my shaker card, but before I put my front on, because I'm going to be moving this around and I do not like to remove that protective film until I am certain that it is good to go. So we'll just add this double-sided sticky on here. This is fitting very nicely on the area that is available. Speaking of gnomes, not that anyone was speaking of it, but I love a gnome. I'm super excited because I just got the gnome set that is the cowboy gnomes from Trinity. So I'm excited to use that in future projects. I'm just going to go ahead and reinforce all of these folds very well. My neighbor is using a leaf blower, so if you do hear that, my apologies. I have no idea why we are leaf blowing at 9 o'clock at night, but that is where we're at. You know, in Minnesota, it does not get dark until so late in the summer. So, you know what? You leaf blow, neighbor. You enjoy summer because winter's coming, per usual. Okay, next, I like to put my piece of paper into the shaker window like this. I have not taken any of the release tape off yet. We're just setting it in. And then I like to relieve 3 sides and adhere them. Now, this is how I do this. So we're going to call this side 1, 2, 3, 4. I start on one side and I go across. So it doesn't matter if you start here, but if you start here, go across. The way that you put these on, I'm sorry, I numbered these incorrectly. It helps to add less air bubbles to your shakers. If you go from one side across and then go diagonal, fill your shaker. Once you get the third side done, then seal it on side 4. That's the fun part. Actually, the filling is the fun part. No. The shaking is the fun part. So for relieving any of the double-sided tape, I like to use a pokey tool. So I'm going to do side number 1. Doesn't matter if you start right to left. You're just going to go across. So I relieved that tape. I'm holding my paper down. I'm taking my side of my finger and I'm just sealing it right in the middle. And then I'm bringing it out to the edge like this. And then I'm going to reinforce that with my folder. This is also from Trinity. And make sure that is really pressed down. Then I'm going to flip my project around, and this is why I haven't relieved or taken that release tape off yet, because if there's any little grit in here, this is going to scratch my front. So as I'm turning it and moving it around, it just protects it. So you can already see there's a little bit of a puff there. Do you see that? So if I would have gone to this side or this side, I would have that puff. But because I'm going to go across, I'm pushing the puff down, taking off release tape number 2, still pushing it down. I'm not shoving it into the corner, but just keeping the air out. So just pushing down, not over. And then taking the side of my hand, pushing it down, and then reinforcing that pretty aggressively with my bone folder thing here. There's an official name for it. I cannot remember at the time. So you can see there still is a tiny bit of air, but I promise you doing it this way is going to make less air. All right, pushing it down again. Taking off the release tape for number 3. Pushing it down. All right. And reinforce. The nice thing about putting something over a shaker like I will be doing is if any stick to the edges, you're barely going to know because it has something over it. So little hack for you there. Okay, so it looks cloudy because the relief or the protective film is still on the front. That's fine. Everyone's fine. Okay, now I'm going to put my little embellishments in. These are saltwater sparkle spots. I love sparkle spots. I think they are just so fun. I'm actually going to use a little tidy tray from Trinity to get my mixture just right. I don't know if I want too many of those in there. I just want like a hint of blue because this is going to help represent the sky. Oh, good grief. They're everywhere. All right, well, that is what was meant to be. These, I'm not sure if they're still available. If they are, I will link them down below. Trinity has hundreds of embellishments. These I got at a class when I went to Paperganza that Trinity Stamps was teaching. Amanda taught a light up class. It was so fun from Pear Blossom Press. I love these sparkles. They're holographic. And I think that will be a nice touch to my sky without going full on galaxy. Not sure about a galaxy Viking, but in my opinion, anything can be galaxy. So if you make that card, you have to send it to me online somehow. Like tag me on it and I would love to see it. Okay, polished white. Now these are just gorgeous little circles. They catch the light so well. I'm using the white ones again because I thought sky, but they have tons of, like, they have the whole rainbow in pastel. So gotta check them out. All right, I've got my little mix here. Whoops, things are flying. This tidy tray makes it so easy just to dump them in. But let's say if you were working on a project and you were placing them on just so, using a tray like this makes it so much easier to clean up and put it back into your container than to just dig for them in a bag. There's that Minnesota accent. So I really do like these tidy trays. I think they're helpful. All right, we'll stick those in there. Not sure if I put enough in because this is a 5x7 card. I feel like I went a little bit light on the embellishments. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to add a little bit more. More of this holographic night sky, and then more of these pretty white, polished white ones. Oh my goodness. These are so gorgeous. They're catching all the light. I'm actually going to just swipe them into the little tidy tray there. Okay. I might have made a Galaxy Gnome card here. Okay. Putting them all in. And now to seal the last side, again, pushing straight down, not pushing it into the corner, just straight down. And relieving. Good grief. Summertime, people. I'm a little bit cuckoo pants. Okay. Relieving the tape. Reinforcing it with the bone folder. All right. Now we can shake. Oh, that's cool. Okay, now it's going to get even better after I take the film off of it because it will get super shiny and give a polished look without this protective film on there. Look at the difference already. Oh my goodness. In my head, all I could think of was like the Little Mermaid when she's doing her little Oz. I will not be doing that online. Okay, here we have it. Now to put this on, I'm going to go ahead and glue this on with liquid glue. And then I'm going to add my little Nomi here with my sentiments. I might add a few more of these white embellishments just around my sentiment, and that will kind of help finish off the card. I did just want to show this part with gluing on the front cover area. For this, I'm using liquid glue because it will give me a little bit of wiggle room time to move it if it is off center, but I am aligning it with the bottom. And then I'm going to pick it up like this and just kind of position it with the bottom line of the card. And then slowly kind of roll our way up. What is roller way? I don't know. Roll my way up the card like that. So really simple. Now, if you have issues with adding this shaker itself to the actual card, like the card base, I recommend taking this project, putting a ton of liquid glue. Okay, that's a bit aggressive, but like put liquid glue on the back of here, or you can pop it up with foam and have it be a little more substantial, and then put a heavy book over it for a bit, like overnight maybe, and you're going to have it be nice and secure there. So I do get that question a few times in my Instagram direct messages, so I just wanted to mention that on this video. That is where I'm going to mention it for you. And by the way, if you have any questions, I never mind at all you messaging me and asking questions. I think that this is such a fun card world community, so have at it. So a lot of times people will also use double-sided adhesive and liquid glue, and you can certainly do that as well, and that will give you even more security for your projects. I'm going to go ahead and do the liquid glue method here. So I am positioning my card base like this. I have my shaker pouch. I'm using my table to help make sure everything is straight, bringing them together like they're giving each other a little hug. Pushing my fingers up through the top here so some things are detaching and adhering, kind of giving it a light pinch all the way down, and then firmly pressing. Now this is the time to grab that big book or something heavy that you can put over it. Maybe you have a basket of dies. As long as it doesn't scratch the surface of your shaker, something heavy that's flat will be perfect. Now, you are going to get some air in there, which is fine because the corners of the shaker pouch are notched a little. But do you see how that adds dimension into your card? You can see some of those embellishments are sticking to that window. Some are sticking to the back of the card. And by sticking, I mean they're not like permanently stuck, but they are just hanging out there. So it does give quite a cool look. And it's almost like a three-dimension look without any foam. I haven't used any foam yet on this project. I will be adding foam to my little Nomi here when I add him on, and adding foam to my embellishments as well, because I love dimension on my projects. Now looking at this, I'm not loving the white line around my gnome. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to attempt to Copic color the edges of my gnome to match the background of my project. Now, if this goes awry, I will be just stamping him out again and placing him on my card. So let's just see if I can do it. We'll see. If it goes really badly, I'll just fussy cut him out with no line at all. But this is the summer of learning and friendship, so we're going to try it out. I think I did it. I might add a little bit more dark area here depending on the placement of the tree, but I used a few different Copic markers, so if you're interested in what they are, I used C9, which was almost that black color, a dark purple, which is BV08, and then I went in with V17, V06, RV34, and then R32 to finish. So I'm going to add on my little Viking guy here, and I will be probably touching up some areas by his shield. Yes, I will. Okay. Again, using C9 just to make sure it is looking kind of seamless. Hopefully. All the way around. Little tip for fussy cutting: if you ever fussy cut out, always go around the area where you cut out with a dark marker like this, maybe even a black, and it will give a perfectly seamless look to your projects. All right, I have my sentiment of a friend. I don't want to put it covering up too much of my sky, so I think I'm going to put it, I gotta really eyeball it here. Thank goodness for reverse tweezers. I find that sometimes just using this gets my hand out of the project, and it kind of gives me a better look at the whole project and not just at the little area. Okay, friend, have a Norse day. I hope you have a Norse day, crafty friend. If you've liked or learned anything on this video, please go ahead and hit the like button, and that helps YouTube know that you like this, and it helps out Trinity Stamps and knows that you're liking this. All right, here, this is what I was talking about before, about another benefit of using the little tidy tray is when you're placing specific gems on, like I will be right now. I don't have to fuss around with the bag because they're all flat and ready. Now, a lot of people will say I have so many problems with my embellishments. There's a few tricks. First of all, put them in the shape of a triangle, like this. So if you were to connect the dots, it would make a triangle. Second, odd numbers. I'm using 5. A lot of times people use 3. 5 is kind of a good number for me. I love adding all the sparkles, so a lot of times I'll do more than that. Another thing is to put them in clumps by sentiments and put them in directional lines. So you can see all of mine line up going this direction, which is completely opposite from my little added pieces. So my embellishments are going in this direction, and my little gnome and my sentiment are going this direction. So it's making a little cross point for your eye to catch with all those sparkles, but then your eye is going to travel down to the gnome because he is kind of the star of the show. So there you have it. Didn't realize I'd be getting on my soapbox here today with art elements of line and such, but here we are. Another great thing about these sentiments, or these embellishments specifically, is they are in fact flat. So for mailing, it is extra easy to mail these little guys because they are not going to poke through an envelope, and they are going to not make your mailman crabby, which we love. I love my local mail post office. Is just so sweet and kind. All right, there we have it. What do you think about my gnome card? I hope you love it just as much as I do. I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy shopping if you use any of the links down below. Thank you. Those are affiliate links and they do help me out. We'll see you next time. Bye, crafty friend.